and murmured, "I beg your pardon, I am interrupting you." His friend growled angrily, "What do you want again? Make haste, we are busy." Georges stammered, "It is nothing." But Forestier persisted. "Come, we are losing time. You did not force your way into the house for the pleasure of bidding us good morning." Duroy, in confusion, replied, "No, it is this. I cannot complete my article, and you were so kind the last time that I hoped that I dared to come." Forestier interrupted with, "So you think I will do your work, and that you have only to take the money? Well, that is fine." His wife smoked on without interfering. Duroy hesitated. "Excuse me, I believed, I thought." Then in a clear voice he said, "I beg 1,000 pardons, madame, and thank you very much for the charming article you wrote for me yesterday." Then he bowed and said to Charles, "I will be at the office at 3 o'clock." He returned home saying to himself, "Very well, I will write it alone and they shall see." Scarcely had he entered than he began to write, anger stirring him on. In an hour he had finished an article, which was a chaos of absurd matter, and took it boldly to the office. Duroy handed Forestier his manuscript. "Here is the rest of Algiers." "Very well, I will hand it to the manager. That will do." When Duroy and Saint-Potin, who had some political information to look up, were in the hall, the latter asked, "Have you been to the cashier's room?" "No, why?" "Why? To get your pay. You should always get your salary a month in advance. One cannot tell what might happen. I will introduce you to the cashier." Duroy drew his 200 francs, together with 28 francs for his article of the preceding day, which, in addition to what remained to him of his salary from the railroad office, left him 340 francs. He had never had so much, and he thought himself rich for an indefinite time. Saint-Potin took him to the offices of 4 or 5 rival papers, hoping that the news he had been commissioned to obtain had been already received by them, and that he could obtain it by means of his diplomacy. When evening came, Duroy, who had nothing more to do, turned toward the Folies Bergère, and walking up to the office, he said, "My name is Georges Duroy. I am on the staff of La Vie Française. I was here the other night with Monsieur Forestier, who promised to get me a pass. I do not know if he remembered it." The register was consulted, but his name was not inscribed upon it. However, the cashier, a very affable man, said to him, "Come in, Monsieur Duroy, and speak to the manager yourself. He will see that everything is all right." He entered and almost at once came upon Rachel, the woman he had seen there before. She approached him. "Good evening, my dear. Are you well?" "Very well. How are you?" "I am not ill. I have dreamed of you twice since the other night." Duroy smiled. "What does that mean?" "That means that I like you." She raised her eyes to the young man's face, took his arm, and leaning upon it, said, "Let let us drink a glass of wine and then take a walk. I should like to go to the opera like this with you, to show you off. At daybreak, he again sallied forth to obtain a Vie Française. He opened the paper feverishly. His article was not there. On entering the office several hours later, he said to M. Walter, "I was very much surprised this morning not to see my second article on Algeria." The manager raised his head and said sharply, "I gave it to your friend Forestier and asked him to read it. He was dissatisfied with it. It will have to be done over." Without a word, Duroy left the room, and entering his friend's office, brusquely asked, "Why did not my article appear this morning?" The journalist, who was smoking a cigar, said calmly, "The manager did not consider it good, and bade me return it to be revised. There it is." Duroy revised it several times, only to have it rejected. He said nothing more of his souvenirs, but gave his whole attention to reporting. He became acquainted behind the scenes at the theatres and in the halls and corridors of the Chamber of Deputies. He knew all the cabinet ministers, generals, police agents, princes, ambassadors, men of the world, Greeks, cabmen, waiters at cafes, and many others. In short, he soon became a remarkable reporter of great value to the paper. So M. Walter said. But as he only received 10 centimes a line, in addition to his fixed salary of 200 francs, and as his expenses were large, he never had a sou. When he saw certain of his associates with their pockets full of money, he wondered what secret means they employed in order to obtain it. He determined to penetrate that mystery, to enter into the association, to obtrude himself upon his comrades, and make them share with him. Often at evening, as he watched the trains pass his window, he dreamed of the conduct he might pursue. End of chapter 4. Recording by Martin Geeson in Hazelmere, Surrey.